I am Jessica Delmar, and this channel is all about the vibrational resonance to the frequency of oneness. Hello everyone, thank you so much for being here. So in this video, this is a continuation of part 1 and part 2 of the creation video series that we did in January, and I'll post those links below if you want to watch those videos first. This video sort of takes off from there in speaking about creation energy, but very much more honed in to plant energy and nature and what's going on there and the messages that wanted to come through at this time. Also, we spoke in one of our last videos about the happy face spider, and later on in this video a message from the happy face spider comes through as well. This message came through in writing first. I am in the process of creating a written library of 2020 transmissions over on my website, and it's available through a subscription on my website where basically kind of like what we were doing with Patreon, bringing together soul members to really connect over these written transmissions, kind of like in our own book club way, where you can have access to the written transmissions. There's a worksheet at the end of the written transmissions because what it does is it opens you up. You're bringing through that inner voice connected to your divine inner being, and then sharing it on a group level every month in our soul group sessions that we'll have for Q&A and open forum discussion. So I hope you'll join me if that's something you're interested in, but it allows you to dive deeper into these messages. In the birthing of life upon this planet that you call Earth, with the life force energy of what you call Gaia, came the most abundant plants and animals that walked and roamed the beautiful land and seascapes. There were many, 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 what you would now call years, but what simply existed as isness before time existed upon your planet, that Gaia delighted and danced with the land and seascapes and land and sea creatures before humans, or rather thought or mind-based beings existed upon her. This is a story about the magic and beauty of plants that stem back to the core of who the plants are. Today, the plants that you coexist with are simply sort of these watered-down versions of who they truly are. They are the result of the past energy per se, and the current energies of your planetary collective, as well as the thought form energies upon which you view plants. For example, in terms of these plants being watered down versions of themselves, which is sort of a mix of energy of who they truly are, but also how the collective views them. Because as we spoke about in the past creation videos, we spoke about the sun, I believe in part 2, and how you are receiving the energy of everything based upon how you are viewing it. So with the sun in particular, if you view it with a sense of destructive energy, then we're going to receive that sort of energy back. And so a lot of this ascension process and progress is us being able to sift and sort our own beliefs and programs that may not necessarily be our own, but is a result of what we grew up with or what was sort of imprinted upon us up until we started awakening and started figuring out these sorts of beliefs and programs. So the same thing with plants. We view plants a certain way that waters down who they truly are because we don't necessarily see them for the wholeness and for the extraordinary living creatures and beings that they are. And this is coming from a collective energetic view upon that, because I know, as individuals, of course, on our ascension journey, we connect deeper to Gaia, we understand it, but as long as the collective is tilting the scale in one direction, then the experience in terms of a collective is going to continue receiving it the way that the collective views it. So, for example, again, like I was talking about, does your planetary collective have a renowned sense of reverence or love for the environment upon your planet? Or do people, for the most part, not care to coexist in a meaningful way with nature? Or is it split? There is always a scale that tilts one way or the other. When you hold energy towards a person, place, thing, or nature that is not of the wholeness of who they truly are, then there is nothing that you can do to help change that person, place, thing, or nature into the wholeness of who they truly are. The environment and plants upon your planet will respond to your collective energy upon the way that you view plants, meaning that in the past, and for the most part, your current collective, energy is one that stifles plants and nature and does not shine the light upon it that it very much deserves. The energy is certainly rising, and the frequencies of plants upon your planet are certainly slowly being restored to who they once were. But for the most part, nature has been stifled both in the way that you coexist with nature and in the way that you use nature to your advantage. When we open history to the beginning or early times of Gaia, we feel nature alive and coexisting with the animals in a very symbiotic relationship. Plants and nature were not just a decorative piece that you have put in your home, or that which idly stand by on your nature hikes, or that which you simply gaze upon its beauty. No, in the early times of Gaia, nature danced with life and held energy that flowed with activity and took part in the brimming life that was co-created upon Gaia. You, as a species, have dimmed the light of nature, but not to nature's dismay. No, even nature knew what it was signing up for in coming to experience life upon Gaia in co-creation with humans. Even nature knew that its light would dim at a point when humans would not look upon nature as the vital essence of life upon the planet, more important than humans themselves. And all of nature, including animals, knew that the dimmed light experience was all part of the greater human experience and Gaia experience that they signed up for. But now we enter into an expansion of breath where humans open the light of the eye that sees who they truly are and therefore experience who they truly are on a physical, see it, touch it, taste it, feel it, hear it, smell it plane of reality. And this is when the real fun begins. The stuck in the mud type of experience was fun as well, if you were able to see it that way. But now, a new type of fun begins. With this expansion of breath, opening light, raising consciousness, and connecting more deeply within, so does the planet, and so does all of nature and animals upon your planet as well. Your ability to co-create with others will certainly shift and change, but so will your ability to co-create with your environment, including plants, animals, all of nature above land and below water. Do you think that there is ever fully dark? Well, this cannot be, because there is nothing that is ever fully light and nothing that is ever fully dark. The yin and yang symbol is a powerful symbol because it allows for you to see with your eyes that even in the darkness is a sliver of light, and even in the light is a sliver of dark. But yet, in wholeness, there is both light and dark equally. This is what creates the balance within the all. If there was ever fully light and ever fully dark, then your universe would be one of powerful duality rather than one of powerful unity. but certainly the scales have tipped in your earth experience for the sake of your immensely expansive physical realities. The goal? The goal is to take the greater wholeness of dark and light in the all and shake things up a bit by tipping the scale too much to one side and too much to the other, as well as everything in between. It shatters that wholeness into many different shards. It takes that white light and breaks it down into the colors of the rainbow for different types of experiences. The ability to feel and experience the broad scale or the broad range of the yin and the yang and everything in between, broken down as fractals of the whole rather than the whole itself, was the goal in terms of creating the earth experience. Going back to the original question, do you think that there is ever fully dark? The answer is no. In the beginning, when the plants and animals existed upon the planet, but after the opposing forces were created, we spoke about the opposing forces being created in Creation Energy video part 2. So in the beginning, when the plants and animals existed upon the planet, but after the opposing forces were created, there was not a moon that existed yet. There existed day and night as the planet rotated upon its axis, but as night fell, nature slept, but not fully in the dark. Plants receive life-giving energy from the sun during the day. Even now, when you think of solar power opens light and energy. The sun is essential for nourishment for all living creatures upon Gaia. But you humans do not get nearly as much sunlight as plants do, and plants do not get nearly as much pure sunlight as they used to in the early beginnings of Gaia. And this is when, as I was bringing forward this information, in my mind's vision, they started bringing forward animals producing light. And so that thought sort of hung around for a little bit, for maybe like a day or so, and then the happy face spider came through to offer a message. And so the Hawaiian happy face spider comes forward to offer a story about light in the body and the energy of UV light in the atmosphere. So we spoke more about UV light in Creation Energy video part 2. So be sure to watch that video first. And in terms of the happy face spider is a spider that exists in Hawaii. And if you want to Google it, it basically has a happy face on its body, which is why it's named the happy face spider. And so this is what came through in tapping into the happy face spider. What came through is an open sea of UV light exists all around you, even in the dark. Not as fatal energy or light, but more like molecules of light not seen with the human eyes, but that which exists all around you, much like mist on a foggy day. These molecules of light are UV light and allows for the open ability to harness its energy. The air that you breathe is not solid, but not insignificant, meaning just because you cannot see the air that you breathe and that which exists all around you does not mean that it is not there. Your human eyes cannot see or sense the many layers and portals and depths and heights that exist within the open space and air around you. The air contains many pockets or bubbles, much like cells in the human body. And each of those pockets or bubbles or cells in the air, molecules in the air, open a source of energy, which can be used for many different things. We, as the happy face spider, use the energy molecules in the air as a resource for cellular light. We do not get much sunlight, but are able to capture capsules of the sun through these bubbles or molecules in the layers of air. Direct sunlight is not ideal for our translucent bodies, but the powerful UV light in the energy waves of the air sustain the cellular light that we need to survive. I had a question about what does cellular light mean, and so what came through is we use the term cellular light because the cells of the body, regardless if it is a plant, animal, or human, needs light to survive at optimal levels. The only real natural source of light on your planet is from the sun, and all other forms are fractals of the sun, such as fire. The sun gave birth to your planet and also gave birth to you. The sun opens portals that open your desired manifestations and opens life to all upon the planet. The sun gives life and watches its birthed creations from afar. Again, we speak more about the sun in Creation Energy video part 2, including these portals that come through from the sun's rays. We, as the happy face spider, survive on light, even in mostly dark places. We use light to grow and feed our young. The purpose of our message is to open understanding of the greater power of the sun and light. And for those who fear the sun, you must know that the sun is everywhere. The sun is within you, and when you receive nourishment from the sun, you are strengthening the sun within you. When you hide from the sun, you dim the light of the sun within you. We, the happy face spider, are complete. And that's the message that wanted to come through from the happy face spider, basically strengthening the message that had come through in Creation Energy video part 2 about the sun. So a lot of information and knowledge about the sun is coming through at this time, and it probably has to do with the manifestations that are being created for us more strongly right now because the sun is so much stronger. It has to do a lot with our transformation in terms of our physical forms, transforming from 3D into 5D, and how just coming through in this video with the happy face spider and bringing my attention to the cellular makeup of our bodies and how it's so crucial to open light on a cellular level, because light is opening up more and more within our bodies as our bodies become more crystalline. But it's not just a crystallized structure, it is a crystallized structure rooted in light that is fed or nourished by the sun. And so what's coming through right now, especially regarding our physical forms, our bodies, because there is such powerful transformation happening in our physical forms as we move from 3D into 5D, if you are experiencing any sort of ascension symptoms or any sort of physical symptoms that you're struggling with, there is power in receiving nourishment from the sun to help assist you. Because it's bringing my attention to when I moved from Hawaii to New York City, it sort of opened up a gateway for a lot of symptoms of suffering, physical forms of suffering to open up for me. And it was because I wasn't receiving such great amounts of sunlight as I was in Hawaii. And there's a balance that needs to be made. So for example, if a person is 100% sunlight, for example, then there's an imbalance there. So there's still a balance that needs to be made in terms of dark and light. But there's crucial nourishment that comes from the sun, and then there's crucial nourishment that comes from the more feminine aspect of darkness or moonlight. And so part of this ascension process with our physical forms in shifting into 5D is finding that balance not only energetically within us in terms of being the eye of the storm, but it's about balance in everything. And so the idea of light and dark, sunlight and darkness needs to be balanced out. And so we go through these sorts of ebbs and flows, inhales and exhales of breath, because that offers balance. And so this time is very much calling for us to connect to both divine masculine and divine feminine. And so if a person is so fully tipped towards that divine feminine aspect, then that's still an imbalance there, where you need to then start connecting more to that divine masculine within you, which very much it can be connected to through the sunlight, for example, and vice versa. If someone's very divine masculine, then the energies right now is calling for you to balance that out by opening up more of the dark, not in terms of dark energy or negative energy, but just in terms of dark and light as pure creation energies. So connecting to the divine feminine, connecting to the moon, connecting to the more emotional and intuitive side of you will help open up more of that yin energy. So it's really the yin and the yang energy that's desiring to be opened up more. And what it does, especially for the divine masculine on the planet right now, which is sort of that destructive divine masculine, if people focus on pure creation energy, which is why we go back to the sun and the moon, or light and dark, yin and yang energy, not, feminine and masculine, because that energy is very kind of dualistic, if you think about it. But if you get in touch with the sun and the moon, for example, in terms of nature, it'll help to balance your energy out in such a natural way that is not very attached to any form of duality, which masculine and feminine certainly open up more of that dualistic energetic balance, if you will. So that's what needed to come through in this video. Thank you everyone for watching, and in the next couple of videos, more information came through about nature, and it was interesting because a galactic soul came through to tell its story about nature. So we'll be sharing that in the next 2 videos. Thank you everyone, and we offer gratitude and love for the happy face spider that came through to offer this very powerful message. Together with you in oneness, I am Jessica Delmar. Oneness and love be with you.